This lesson is about My Plate. The My Plate is an icon that allows us to be more aware of the foods that we are putting into our body. During this lesson, you will learn about how to balance calories, foods that you may need to increase, and foods that you may need to decrease. Balancing calories is important to your health. You need to use the calories in which you put into your body from the food in which you eat. During this lesson, you will find foods that you may not eat very much of. Therefore, you need to probably increase that. There are some foods that you eat a lot of that could be harmful to your health that you need to reduce and not eat as much of. We need to enjoy the food that we eat, but sometimes we need to eat less of that food that we enjoy. Balancing calories is a big part of our health. The calories that we get from the food we eat needs to be used as energy throughout the day. If we do not use that energy throughout the day, then it can become extra weight on our body. One way to solve this problem is to avoid oversizing the portions in which we eat. "100 calories extra a day that we do not use as energy will eventually end up as 10 extra pounds in 1 year. Just think of that, 10 extra pounds to your weight from not using the energy that the calories give you throughout the day. Eat until you're satisfied and not full. When we eat until we're full, we tend to be more bloated, heavy, and very discomfort. But if we eat until we're satisfied, it's more of a pleasant, light feeling. But yet our body is getting the nutrients in which it needs. So don't treat your stomach like a wastebasket to fill it up before you empty it. Eating till you're full is what many of us do, mainly because we are always eating on the run or we're trying to eat fast so that we can do the things we want to do. But it takes 20 minutes for our stomach to tell your brain that it is full. Therefore, if we would slow down when we eat, we would probably be more likely to eat until we're satisfied instead of full and overflowing. Research indicates the larger the portion, the more we tend to eat. Take less when you serve your plate. Serve on smaller plates. Use narrow versus wide glasses. Order a smaller portion. Split with a friend. Ask for a to-go box right away and put half of the meal away before you eat it. Review the calorie content of the foods and the beverages offered and choose low-calorie options. Calorie information may be available on menus, in pamphlets, on the wrappers, or online. Limit foods that are high in sodium, added sugar, and refined grains. The food that you see in the picture are all processed foods. Eat more nutrient-based foods. In the picture, you see foods that are whole foods. These are all high in nutrients. The following is a list of the nutrient-based foods and beverages. They are prepared without adding solid fats, sugars, or salt. A nutritional food label does not separate added sugars from naturally occurring sugars. Added sugars are certain sugars that have been added during processing. 1 teaspoon of sugar equals 4 grams of added or natural occurring sugars. There are some foods that have natural sugar in it, like milk, fruit, and vegetables. Fruit is actually called nature's sugar. Which food has added sugar according to the ingredient list, A or B? If you answered B, you are correct. Now let's talk about foods to increase. Make half of your plate fruits and vegetables. The grains in which you eat, half of them should be whole grains because they contain fiber and have less sugar. When it comes to milk, we should be switching to fat-free or low-fat milk. There is a vegetable subgroup known as legumes. Legumes are those beans and peas that provide both vegetables and protein for the body. When we're talking about legumes, we're not talking about the green peas or green beans that we all love to eat. What type of food are beans and peas legumes considered? If you said C, both vegetable and protein, you are correct. At least half of your grain should be whole grain. Whole grain has less sugar in it and also contains fiber, which our body is in much need of. Which bread has the highest in whole grains, A or B? If you answered B, you are correct. Switching to fat-free or low-fat milk makes a big difference. Notice the glasses of milk in the pitcher. The whole milk on the left shows that it has 165 calories. As we decrease the fat in the milk, we also decrease the number of calories. Which of these are more nutrient-based? If you answered A, you are correct. When we talk about reducing some of the food that we eat, there are two things we need to consider. We need to start comparing the amount of sodium in the foods that we have, especially in our soups, breads, and frozen foods. We also need to drink water instead of sugary drinks. Sodium or salt is in almost everything that we eat. One thing that we can do to reduce this is to start checking the labels and see how much sodium is in each food. Avoid adding salt to your food when you sit down to eat. Eat more fresh foods and frozen vegetables. All canned foods have extra sodium in it to preserve it. Request salt to be left off when you're eating out at a restaurant. Another thing is to use other seasonings to season your food. Now let's talk sugar-sweetened beverages. Many students who drink sugar-sweetened beverages have been known to have a higher body weight. These are things we need to try to reduce. Drink more water. Consume smaller portions when you do drink sugar-sweetened beverages. These will help lower the calories.